Hi, I'm Stefan from Mix66 and in this video I will show you how the multi-output routing in Kontakt works. I've already made some videos about creating your own Kontakt instruments, but I get the feeling that many people don't get their head around how the multi-output routing in Kontakt works, and therefore I decided to make a short additional video just about the multi-output concept of Kontakt. So let's jump straight into repo with Kontakt already loaded to take a look at the multi-output routing. So here we have a Kontakt instrument that I created. It's just a kick drum with 4 different microphones, so kick in, kick out, overhead and room. And obviously we want to have full control over all 4 microphones in our DAW. So we want to have a separate track for every of our microphones in repo. But to understand how that works, we need to understand how Kontakt works. So in Kontakt you have the instrument itself. The instrument is loaded into Kontakt. I mean, this sounds obvious, but it's also the thing that many people don't understand. That the instrument is loaded into Kontakt, and that means that the instrument has outputs that sends the audio signal to Kontakt, and then Kontakt sends the outputs to your DAW. Let's open up a picture to understand this better. So this is how the routing in Kontakt works. You load your samples into an instrument. So the sample has an audio signal that you send to the buses of the instrument. Now the signals are on the buses of the instrument. But you get your signal from the samples through the instrument buses to your DAW. You have to route them to the Kontakt outputs. And this is the step that many people don't understand. They think that you can send directly from the instrument buses to the DAW. No, you first have to assign your instrument buses to Kontakt outputs, and then you can send the Kontakt outputs to the multi-outputs from the VST inside your DAW. So here is the signal flow when you open Kontakt as a VST in your DAW. Sample sends the audio signal to the instrument bus sends the audio to the Kontakt output, and the Kontakt output sends the signal to the multi-outputs from the VST. Let's take a look at the DAW, how this is done. So first of all, we have our sample. So here in the Kontakt instrument, we have our sample. Let's take a look at just this random sample. You can see that this sample is routed to output bus 3. So it is instrument bus 3. Down here you can see the 16 instrument buses available in Kontakt. So every sample is routed to a certain instrument bus. Here it is bus 1, bus 4, bus 1, bus 2, and so on. So the first step is done. Our sample is routed to an instrument bus. Then we have to make sure that the instrument bus is routed to an output in Kontakt. I already have here the 4 outputs, but when you load Kontakt the first time, you have just 1 output. So let's restore the factory setting where we have 1 stereo output. We delete the existing ones. Okay, so this is how Kontakt usually looks. Over here on the instrument buses, you can see that instrument bus 1 is routed to output stereo 1, 2 to stereo 1, 3 to stereo 1, and 4 to stereo 1. That makes sense because we have only 1 stereo output. Let's make them 4, so we choose quantity 4 and we delete the existing ones before creating new ones. Hit OK. Now we have 4 stereo outputs for Kontakt. And now you can also see that the instrument buses are routed accordingly. Kontakt does this automatically, so instrument bus 1 is routed to stereo 1, 2 to stereo 2, 3 to stereo 3, and 4 to stereo 4. You could also change that by clicking down here and selecting the output that you would like to have. Now, if I click again the sample, we don't hear anything, because now the instrument buses are routed to the Kontakt outputs, but the Kontakt outputs themselves are not routed to the DAW outputs. For that, you have to click down here. But if we click down here, you can see that we have no outputs available. This is because we made a mistake when creating the new channels. When creating the channels, so when we created 4 channels, we have to select here stereo 1. that now with ascending output assignment and delete existing channels before creating new ones, we'll create now 4 stereo channels starting with stereo output 1 of Kontakt. If we hit now OK, you can see that down here we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And also the instrument buses is still correct. Now, if I hit the sample, we can hear a sound. But we will hear only the first 2 channels, because normally a plugin has stereo outputs, so Reaper listens only to the first 2 channels of the plugin. To change that, every DAW has a different system. In Reaper, for example, you right-click and you choose Build Multi-Channel Routing for output of selected FX. We click that, we hit OK, and now we can see that we have all these tracks. We can get rid of all of them except the first 4. And now, if I hit the sample, we will hear all 4 microphones. So now the first one is kick in, the second one kick out, third one kick overhead, and the last one is the room. And lastly, one important thing about saving your Kontakt instrument. If you go to the save icon of Kontakt, you have 2 options: save the instrument or save the multi. What is the difference? If you save your instrument, it just saves the instrument, so not the multi-output configuration. So if you choose instrument, you really will save only your instrument. If you would have another instrument down here, you can only save one instrument, but not the whole configuration. That means that you also won't save the output configuration. If you want to save your whole Kontakt session with the output configuration, you have to choose Save Multi As. In that case, the next time when you load your Kontakt instrument, the output configuration will be loaded correctly and you already have your multi-output configuration in place. So there you have it. This is how the routing of Kontakt works. I hope you have learned something today. And if you want to learn more about music production, then please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.